Hi there. This topic or audio recording is not all about Scorpio, although it's been a while since the last time I posted some audio recordings about Scorpio. I might pretty soon try to post some recordings about some topics, interesting ones about Scorpio, and I really do appreciate that I get subscribers really who are interested in the astrology or the Scorpio topic, so thank you. But today's topic is different. It's just something that I'd like to share. It's not going to be an uber long one, hopefully, but something about myself, about my passion for music. I really love music, and today, though, it's not just, the usual music, like you like rock, you like heavy metal, or you like death metal, jazz, what have you. Today's topic is about Japanese music, okay? Particularly the J-rock music and the Visual Kei. If you guys are not familiar what Visual Kei is, of course you can Google that. But Visual Kei, it's where Japanese musicians wear really flamboyant clothes, really, amazing hair and makeup. It's really, really artistic for me. So, really, fashionable. And I will actually name quite a few Visual Kei bands that I really adore. And, of course, Japanese rock bands as well, or the J-rock bands that I really like. But I guess let's start first with how it all began. So as a kid, I'm really, really much into the Japanese culture. Although I do have the Japanese blood and Chinese and Filipino, but actually all my siblings, they studied at a Chinese school, and I was the only one who's really, really much into the Japanese culture. As a kid, I really am, very hooked into, anything about Japan. And, of course, there's animes as well. And then one of the first few bands that I listened to back then was Lunacy, which is definitely one of my favorite Japanese bands. You better check them out as well. If you're not familiar with that, you better check them out. It all started there, actually, really understanding the culture, watching animes, reading mangas and all that. And then I remember when I was in my early 20s, I was really, trying to, mingle with people who actually has the same interests about J-rock music or J-pop. So there were a lot of forums that I joined, and then I know it's a dating site. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tag. I'm not even sure if that site is still active. I remember I used to actually post a lot of, topics there, and a lot of the designs that I do there were, influenced by the Japanese music, and that was the very first time, mingling with people who shares the same interest and who are, sharing their own list of favorite or their own favorite bands out there. And then I moved on to MySpace. So in MySpace, I tried to gather more information about some underground Japanese bands. And it's mostly Japanese bands that I was trying to support. What I do was I try to, do some research about the band. And, of course, it's underground. They're not really that popular yet, so I tried to promote the bands. There are also other underground bands that I've worked with, not really work with, but I tried to talk to them via MySpace and tried to support their band as well. And it was really great, but it was mostly Japanese bands that I was really trying to promote. So I was searching a lot, at that time when MySpace was at its, peak, really. That's what I used to do back then. And then I started, creating a Japanese blog, or joined, rather, a blog, year 2009 at Ameba, ameba.jp. So until now, I still do have that. It's still active. Unfortunately, though, I'm no longer active, and I'm pretty sure some of the folks who subscribe to my channel, who are, the peeps or the people that I actually met over MySpace or Amoeba blog or Amoblog, knows about it, It's because of the work that I do, because at that time I was still not really too busy at work. I was, but I still have, enough time really to write some blogs and try to support underground Japanese bands. That was, one of my, I would have to say, one of the most fun and memorable hobbies that I, used to have. I'm not that active anymore, but, it's really great. It was a great experience. It was really great trying to help, bands out there promote their music and try to share it to the rest of the people through blogs and through other social media. And then, without getting paid for it, you're just doing it based on, pure passion, really. So that's how it all started, and I've met quite a few bands, not personally though, because I'm, living here in the Philippines, but wasn't able really to go to Japan, to meet some of the bands that I met and helped as well. But I've had a lot of great experiences, talking to these really amazing and talented musicians and artists, where you can really see their passion. You can really admire how they really try to put out all of their efforts, their passion and their craft and all that. So I really miss it. Honestly, I kind of miss it. This is like an audio diary, by the way. So it's like I'm just sharing to you what are the things that I used to do back then in my spare time while working for Dell. I used to, do all of these, fun stuff, blogging and trying to help out some bands. There were also some very, very popular group of people or company who were actually really doing it for a living. Let me mention this, Shattered Tranquility. If you guys are actually into the J-rock music, or you're really familiar with the Japanese music and the Visual Kei and all that, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Shattered Tranquility. So they're really cool people. I've met quite a few of them. Some of the writers, and they're really, really awesome, very down to earth, and I was, really surprised. I was, given an opportunity somehow to connect with them at Amoblog. Of course, these people are really doing it for a living, not just for a hobby. They're really, interviewing these not just underground bands, but really popular bands. I'm more of the underground type, really not that popular, but trying to boost them and try to show their talent, or try to share it to the rest of the people, is what I used to do back then. I kind of miss it, really. And since I love to do designs, that's what I do. Like, I try to make everything so interactive and so fun, and then we do some research. And the fun thing about the Amoblog is that there's this really cool game. I'm pretty sure, some of you guys are familiar with it. It's Pig, P-I-G-G, and it's kind of like Sims, And the most memorable experience I had was, group of people were also just like me, who's really addicted to Japanese music and J-rock and all that, would actually gather around. It's very interactive. Would gather and would visit each other's places, and then would actually visit, the house of really popular musicians in Japan, and it was really, really cool, funny, and awesome, and it was something I'll never, ever forget, really. So I remember there was this Japanese friend of mine. His name is Hiro. He would actually do the most of the translation for us. It was really great. Those are, some of, well, it's actually Thursday, so I would have to say this as throwback. That was way back in 2009 or 2010 when it all started. So it's already 2016. Kind of missed those times, really. But yeah, just to share to you guys, those were the things I used to do. And something that I really miss doing. Unfortunately, it's for some reason I can't do the very same thing again with the busy schedule that I have. But my account there is really still active. So anyway, this is getting too long. By the way, the background music right now is one of my favorite Japanese bands. It's Lynch. Okay. The song is Ambivalent. Ideal. Okay. And actually, Death Gaze is also one of the bands that I also really like and really, really support. But I'm not like their official supporter. I'm just really, really trying to be such a huge fan of them as well. But again, speaking of these bands, let me name a few. Okay, here are the lists of visual K bands or J-rock artists, musicians that I really adore. Of course, Lunacy is definitely is on the list, one of the top lists. Then we also have, of course, Death Gaze, Lynch. What else? Alien Mirage, did I pronounce it right? Okay. Then there's Bucktick, of course. What else? Death Bears Ray. Dula Quartz, or, Dula Quartz. I used to listen to that in my early 20s as well. What else? I'm sorry, I really need to, because there are a lot of bands. Core the Child, Onsraw, of course. Callie Gary. Daring Gray, definitely. Don't ever miss out on Daring Gray. There's Distraught Overlord, Deluhi, Gilgamesh, what else? Oh my god. Kagura, there you go. Kagura as well. Kuroyume. Kuroyume, I really like, Sads, and it's also one of his bands. Kuroyume is a great, really talented artist as well. I used to listen to, his band called Sads. What else? Larkin Shell, of course. Matendra Opera. Oh my god, there are a lot of bands, really. Man, I'm running out. Sadie, of course. Screw, there you go. Actually, a lot of bands. Really, I tell you, there are a lot of bands, and I'm sorry if I wasn't able to mention some of them. But one of the bands that I was able to be friends with somehow. Their underground band, and he's actually subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. That's Vital Magie, okay? And they're pretty much like Moi de Chemin, really goth music, orchestral and all that. Really, really cool. And I really, miss talking, to those bands that I used to talk to when I was doing my stuff, really. So, but anyway, I'll probably try to create another audio recording, a separate one talking about it in the future. But those are just, a few of the bands that I really like listening to. I'm pretty sure there's still lots and lots. And actually, Meth, because I was really trying to, think of, those bands that I really listen to. Oz, of course. Oh my God. I'm so sorry I forgot about Oz. Okay, Ozzy or Oz, okay, was one of the bands that I really like. Something I pretty much wanted to check out as well, although they've disbanded already, and which is really sad, but they're really, really cool. What else? Miyabi, of course. A Japanese artist, Miyabi. He's really, really popular, of course. What else? I think I pretty much, almost mentioned, those Visual K, J-Rock bands that I listen to or that I really like. Lee Cowan, yeah, pretty much like them too. And then Nega, of course, I like Nega. 8. Blacklist, I think I already mentioned Kagura. But of course, another band that I like, Nagoya band, is Kakurobin. Okay. So anyway, those are just a few. If I wasn't able to mention some of them, I'm just really, I'm like, I think I have to, do a part 2 because there are a really long list of bands that I really listen to. But, this is just something I'd like to share to you guys, what I'm really, what I was really doing in the past, or the hobbies, that I used to do, which I really, really miss, of course. And that is supporting underground bands, talking to bands, and, being up to date with the latest Japanese music, underground music. Unfortunately, wasn't the same as before anymore, but definitely, I know I'm missing a lot. I'm missing a lot, really. I'm not that updated anymore. Oh my God, I forgot to mention Born. I love, the band Born too. I told you earlier that it's going to be like, there's going to be a part 2 if I'm going to name every Japanese band that I, like or listen to. So for you guys who are actually listening to this audio recording and familiar with J-Rock music or Visual K, I just wanted to say that keep on supporting these bands, and maybe you can also PM me, keep me updated. Which band should I really listen to these days? Okay, but I was like, really just trying to reminisce, the days when I was really still doing those, stuffs. And a lot of the people actually, they know I don't have a Facebook account, so they would try to search my name, and they would see that, my pictures were actually kind of like the cosplay thing. And even in the office, they were like, are you a cosplayer or something? It's not really like I do it, like I go to attend cosplay shows or events. I don't. But I, of course, being, interested in the Japanese Visual K, J-Rock music, of course, that's what I used to do back then as well. Really, trying to dye my hair and wearing a lot of scary lenses. Those were the stuff that I used to do back then. So, as you can see, the picture that I'm actually using right now in this audio recording, that's just one example. So forgive me for that. I know it looks so freaking weird or looks really funny, but this is just something I'd like to share to you about myself. And I think I'm too old to be doing that. I mean, come on, I'm almost like 37 already. So I really, I don't think that I can still do the very same thing again. It would really look awkward. But, the music, being interested in these type of music, there's no age limit, definitely, when it comes to music. It's just that the cosplay and all that thing that I used to do back then, I don't think I'll be doing that anymore, but I do miss it. I do miss the fun stuff, really. So anyway, I guess that's just about it. Thank you so much for listening to this recording. Hope you picked up on something. Again, I was just basically sharing some facts or some things about myself, about being obsessed with Japanese music, J-Rock, and Visual K. And I hope more and more people would also try to support them, Before I end this or wrap up this recording, I was also really, really, thrilled because there's this Japanese band called Uchi Sentai Noise, okay? They love the Philippines so much, and they've been doing a lot of Filipino covers, like local songs. I believe they sang the song Narda. Actually, I even watched their concert, a couple of times. It was really cool. They were really, really great. They were really, really amazing musicians. They're fun and all that. I wasn't really a big fan of their music, because it's a really type of music that is very energetic and all that. I'm pretty much into, the rock type, something that is kind of like, American Japanese kind of, feel, death metal or heavy rock kind of, influence there, just like, just to make it, much more easier to understand, if you listen to Deer and Gray, kind of like that. Those are the bands that I really like, but, I was really amazed when I actually had a chance to watch Uchi Sentai Noise. They were really, really cool people. They're very, very, amazing. And, I like how they try to help the unfortunate children. They're always popping in and out here in the Philippines. So, it's also one of the bands that you better check out too. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. I better go. And, all about Scorpio, recordings, I'd come back and try to post something about it again pretty soon. In the meantime, just, bear with me if I'm, uploading all those funny, crappy covers. I was just, really, really having fun lately. And the passion for music and all that. But anyway, I gotta go. I'm such a blabbermouth. All right. See ya. Thanks so much again for listening.